Good afternoon, all. CamelbackTrading.org coming to you this Thursday afternoon, July 16th. We're looking at the SPY ETF's market profile here on Window Trader. And on days like today, sometimes you have to ask what didn't happen as opposed to what did happen. And to me, what didn't happen is, once again, sellers had an opportunity getting into the price probe from the 14th, open at the lower end of yesterday's range after M ripped higher, only to absolutely fail again. We go out with a poor low. We end 12 wide. We thought we were going to get a perfect POC, but M period wouldn't accommodate us. It went out with a price probe to the upside. Now, I'm seeing right now, after hours, it looks like Netflix came out, and for whatever, I don't see what they were, but I know we're trading down over $1. We're down to $319.63. As you can see, it's trading down here when we close somewhere up here. So obviously we're selling off, at least initially. It was not the easiest day. It was a huge, it wasn't a huge rotational day because the range wasn't big, but it was a rotational day where if you had the stomach and nerve for it, you could have made money on DEFKL longs and ridden it back to POC each time. And the same up here, taking shorts. I ended up with a good day. I'll go over that in a minute, but it was because of one really big trade that saved me. I tried to play Innovator twice that cost me. So I'll explain to you now what I did. So we opened below value, lower end of balance. I said if we take out the day's low, I want to short it to see if we get into M. If we get accepted into M, good chance we start trading it. Well, that didn't happen. So what I did do in A, we went back and forth through the opening. The first 7 time frames or so. So there was absolutely no conviction either way. We went back and forth through the opening a good part of the day. So there was no conviction either way. But what I did do in A period, when we finally got below the opening at one point, I took a short, wrote it down, and had a good trade there. B period came down, and this is where I played Innovator. I thought we would at least take out A's low and get something out of it. Took a short right before we popped lower. We went lower. I was in the money for a second, came right back, started rotating, got out of it, lost small. Nothing big, but lost small. C period. This one worked out good. Nothing huge, but it worked out well. And this is how I got myself in trouble later. And I'll tell you, when C looked like it was going to pop B's high, I took a long play. I thought we would get, if we took B's high, we should at least get A's high and see what we get if we get back to POC from yesterday. That's what it did. It turned out to be a good trade. D period was my best trade of the day before one I took later. D. So C popped higher. D couldn't do that. As soon as D got below the opening and took out and stopped the one-time framing up, took a short, wrote it right down. I did not think we were going to get a lot out of it at that point because we had failed already in A and B. So I took it off. That was a very nice trade. So now here's where the pain came in all afternoon. Well, for a good part. So we start rotating back up. G goes up. Now I'm like, well, let's see, we took out the initial balance high. We did not take out, by the way, the overnight high or low. Again, that's usually a rarity. Well, it happened again, right? It's been happening more and more lately. H finished. As soon as H period finished and I opened up, I thought the odds, right? Everything's odds, were good of taking a call because I thought we'd take out H, finally pop the top, and basically do what we did in M. Well, I got long right away, 60 calls. And it obviously didn't happen. Came down. I added 20, went back up, took those off. It was the I forgot which one. It was either 320 or 320 calls, I believe it was. Then it started coming down. I was in pain now. I could have added a bunch of times, but the way it was rotational, I was like, if I do that and we decide to rotate to the bottom, I'm going to be in a lot of trouble. So I kept holding on to them, and I was getting hurt. They came down in I. They came down in J. Actually took out I's low, but didn't get the opening and went right back up. Now, I could have added there. I didn't. I'm like, well, maybe, just maybe, we're going to go. Popped the top, didn't do anything. I took small off. I had 55 of them now. They expired them all, but price was declining on them, right? Now I'm back at the high, and they weren't back to where I bought them. K did the same thing. Now K starts rolling again. I said, you know what? If K comes down and gets accepted into G period, I'm taking a short because I thought we would get below POC and at least test the opening again. And that's exactly what it did. As soon as it got to around G's high, I bought a 200 put position of the 321 puts versus today's high. And I'm telling you, as soon as I bought them, they just ramped down. I paid $221 for them, started selling them between $229 and got out at $250. Awesome trade. Now, the problem, though, is I still had my 55 calls. Believe me, this short put me a lot more in the money than I was out on the calls. The calls rallied a bit right after that, and I got out of them. I was tempted to hold them because I'm like, you know what, this is rotational. Well, net, I didn't hold them, and look what we ended up doing, right? KL went down and then went all the way back up. Didn't matter. I took a lot of mental reserve got used because I was long all of I, all of J, most of K until I took that short and then got out of the long when it went back up. So that trade really saved my day. I'm not advising other people to take that. I didn't take it wishing and hoping, that's for sure. I took that trade based on the fact that once we got accepted into G, I thought the odds were good to at least go down and test the opening. Well, we did that and a lot more for me. Plus, it was a rotational day. The reason I bought this is because I thought we would finally pop the top. Obviously, that didn't happen at that time. All right, destinations for tomorrow. And so we go out with a price probe. Our upside destination is today's high of 321.28. Then we have the naked POC, right? Because we opened below it. We couldn't even get to it. I thought we would. The naked POC is at 321.36, 10 wide. And then above that, we have 323.04 and then 323.41 monthly high, top of the balance high. For the downside, we had a price probe. Now, even though we're trading a lot low and we closed below it, 320.86, until A period opens below that, that's our first destination. Then 320.02, that's our POC, 12 out of 13 wide. It got raised to its highest point in M period. Then today's low, which is a poor low of 319.09, and then 317.67, that price probe, which is held like a champ 2 days in a row. We haven't even gotten close to it. And then 314.52 afternoon pullback low in H, and then 312 daily low. So your destinations and reference points are getting wider apart, which is going to make some really good price action. Keep that in mind. And then on the charts, monthly, one time framing up 2 months. Again, last month's high, that is the goal. They got to get above that. Plus, we got to get above settlement, which is 321.86, right? So that's something that's going to be important. Weekly, right now, it's a huge 8-week balance. We keep knocking at the top of it. If they don't do it at some point, we're going to roll. Daily. Balance. Now, the last 2 days, even though we've struggled to get higher, we've kind of closed above, this day's high. So they're trying to stay in the upper end. They're staying inside of here. 317.16 is the low of this 4-day balance. So we are staying in the top of this. But again, it's meaningless if we can't get above and accepted 323.41. Really, plain and simple as that. Tomorrow's an expiration. We'll see if we can do it. Obviously, volume, by the way, 51 million. Horrendous. We're averaging under 90 now, but we couldn't. 51. We're trading $1 lower right now based, I'm assuming, on Netflix. I don't know if any other earnings came out. So we'll see going forward tomorrow what that's going to mean for our opening. I hope you had a great day trading. Come check us out at camelbacktrading.org. Have a great night, and we'll speak prior to the opening tomorrow.